It's very simple, it's very thought-provoking, the performances are excellent, and it probably asks you questions that you might have considered yourself already and really explores how deep we can go with that. It's a lot of fun that way. Knock at the cabin. While vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family makes a choice to avert the apocalypse. This is another really creative movie by M. Night Shyamalan with a really interesting premise, and I gotta say, I think he did quite great here because this movie's pretty excellent. This movie really puts a whole new meaning on the idea of your family is worth more to you than the entire world, or maybe it's not. So I think the most significant aspect of this movie is its simplicity and execution and premise. Basically, the idea is this: you either choose your family or you choose all of humanity. That's not an easy decision, and it's probably one that you've at least thought about in your subconscious at some point in your life. It's like the most epic version of playing the game Would You Rather. This movie takes one of those big questions and actually plays out what it might look like, and I just thought that was a lot of fun, but also really dark. But I think that's where I appreciate this movie the most, is the nuanced conversation that it has just around that question if you were yourself having to make that choice. Is humanity really worth saving? Is a member of your family worth saving humanity for? Does humanity deserve to be saved from certain death? And the movie makes the argument for both sides of the equation, and it really gets you to think and really understand what kind of a pickle our protagonists are in, because it's quite interesting. And within that, I think that this movie does really intelligently is actually makes you doubt what these, for lack of a better term, doomsdayers played by Dave Bautista and company are throwing at us. The movie throws in these doubts at you throughout this experience. It's like, is doomsday really happening? Are these people just full of shit? And I even found myself questioning what they were trying to spin. I'm like, are they lying? Are they hallucinating? What's actually happening here? And the movie does arrive at a definitive answer to that question, but just the fact that it kind of plays around those lines a little bit, I thought added another dimension that the movie really needed and actually really helped elevate itself for it. I could probably do a whole hour conversation about how the movie continues to explore that question of, do you choose your family or do you choose your humanity? Just know that this movie has a really intelligent conversation, and a fascinating one at that, throughout this experience, and that in itself is worth the price of admission alone. Now, philosophical things aside that this movie talks about, I want to talk about the performances, because just about everyone is at the top of their game. There's really only one performance that I didn't particularly enjoy, but everyone else across the board I think was the most convincing actor or actress I've seen consistently in movies in a long time. The standout is in this film Dave Bautista, which I've really enjoyed seeing the trajectory of his career just increase what feels like infinitely over the last few years. To see him go from professional wrestler to really successful actor now at this point, I think has been a lot of fun, and to see him only get better and better makes for a great story and is just really fun to watch. He plays, I guess, what I'll call, for lack of a better term, the leader of these doomsdayers in this movie, and he actually plays a second grade teacher. And Dave Bautista really sells the fact that he is a gentle giant second grade teacher that truly cares about kids in this movie. And it really just blew me away. It really personified his character, and it really made the experience just wholesome for me. And I think that's part of what makes this movie great, is the personification of both sides of this dilemma that we've got going here. These families, these certain individuals with other families, the rippling effects that it has because of it. It really helps the movie communicate to us as the viewer that, hey, these are people here that are going to be sacrificed if this family does not make the choice that they need to make in order to avert the apocalypse. And it really gets you to buy into the fact that, well, maybe they should make the choice to go ahead and sacrifice one of themselves, because the certain aspect of humanity is worth saving. Again, it just adds into that additional layer of nuance that I talked about in my first point earlier on. And I think that's partly why these performances in this movie are so important to its success, because if you don't have a believable set of characters that are very empathetic and that you can empathize and sympathize with, I think this whole movie's idea of what do you save, humanity or your own family, I think that all goes out the window, and it really destroys the experience, because it would really take the humanity out of the entire situation and thereby suck the life out of the entire movie. But fortunately, with all these awesome performances, it really makes the dilemma even more difficult for yourself to digest. And by doing that, I think that makes the dilemma even more interesting, because if you've got these doomsdayers who are just a-holes representing all of humanity, for yourself as the viewer, it makes the decision a lot easier, like, oh, this family should just let the entire world die because humanity isn't worth saving. But the film introduces aspects that suggest maybe humanity is worth saving. And that's really the beauty of it. It makes the whole movie go round, it makes it circular, it makes this whole thing just click together and sing pretty beautifully. The only thing I touch upon that I didn't really enjoy fully is probably the pacing of the film. It starts very well, and I'd say the middle chunk of it is really exciting and it's really well paced. I'd say at about the end of the first third of the movie, it slows down a little bit, and the movie I think takes a little while to end, a little bit too long, but I think that's really a testament to how well I think this movie did. Is if I'm picking at its pacing as a negative, well, that means I have very little else to really nitpick this movie about. Friends, in the end, I'm gonna have to give Knock at the Cabin an 8 out of 10. I thought this was an excellent experience and one that I think you should definitely go and see. It's very simple, it's very thought-provoking, the performances are excellent, and it probably asks you questions that you might have considered yourself already and really explores how deep we can go with that. It's a lot of fun that way. Friends, thanks so much for watching another movie review. If you like this or thought it's helpful, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button and clicking these end cards up above or the links down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Once again, I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.